Jagex has made some huge changes to combat recently, and these changes have caused a few seemingly random items to be in extremely high demand, and you can take advantage of this and make millions off of it. Along with these combat changes came some new best-in-slot invention perks for all combat styles, and a lot of players are in a big rush to re-perk their gear with the best perks available. This is causing some components, like historical components, to be in extremely high demand, since every ancient gizmo requires 20 historical components, and a new best-in-slot perk for magic weapons is Precise 6 Ultimatum 4, which requires a total of 2,755 historical components to get the perk on rate for the cost to make the perk, and the 95 gizmos to make this perk on rate. This has caused the price of historical components to skyrocket, tripling in price in just a few days. And unlike many invention components, you can actually sell historical components, and they are very easy to obtain. The more common way to obtain historical components is by excavating at the Caradat dig site for the Venator light crossbow and the Venator dagger. This is quite literally the lowest level archaeology excavation spot, so you get these artifacts very quickly, every few seconds with a best-in-slot archaeology setup. The problem is everyone is doing this, and that has increased the price of the materials to restore the artifacts, specifically the Zarosian Insignia, up to around 20k each, meaning every time you're restoring one of these artifacts, it's costing you over 300k. One option is go to the Infernal Source and excavate the level 20 archaeology spot for the Crest of Dagon and the Disorder painting. These are much cheaper to restore, especially the Crest of Dagon, which require Gold Rune and Orthonglass, costing around 3k and 2k each right now. The Disorder paintings do require 14 cadmium red, which goes for around 10k GP, so those are a little more expensive to make, but still much cheaper than the Venator crossbow and the dagger. Once you have enough historic components, you can make either a small crate with 100 historic components or a large one with 1,000. It does require padded parts as well as protective components. Padded parts are obtained through disassembling things like ranged bodies and ranged armor like green dragon hide or red dragon hide, blue dragon hide. So you can just start disassembling those for the padded parts, and the protective parts come from armor and shields, which you probably have a lot of. The price is obviously changing very quickly. Yesterday, I was able to sell a small component pack for about 3.3 mil, and today a large crate for around 24.9 mil. If you are using the method at the Infernal Source, it's going to be a lot cheaper to make these artifacts, and I would estimate that your GP per hour right now is probably right around 17 or 18 mil, and most of it is AFK just gathering the artifacts. You may have already gathered this, but collecting Zarosian Essence is also an extremely good moneymaker right now. These materials are currently trading for around 20k each at the time of recording, and so it is extremely profitable just gathering them at the material cache here at the Empty Throne Room. You can collect these extremely fast, especially if you have a high archaeology level and a pretty good setup. The Balarax Sash Brush is extremely good here. It gives you 10% more materials when excavating these material caches. This isn't as AFK because you do need to watch to see whether the material caches have depleted or not, but I found if I was actively paying attention, I was able to get around 1,200 per hour, making this around a 24 million GP per hour method right now. And the crazy thing about this is that it only requires level 5 archaeology to excavate these material caches. A lot of players right now are trying to get the Ultimatum perk, and this means that another very key invention component that is in very high demand are the explosive components. They're used to create any Ultimatum perk on any armor gizmo. And there is actually only one way to obtain these: hand cannons. And hand cannons are only dropped by one creature, the Chaos Dwarf Hand Cannoneer. Chaos Dwarfs are found in Keldegrim on the Chaos Dwarf battlefield, which is locked behind the Forgiveness of a Chaos Dwarf quest. So for this method, we are going to be hunting the hand cannon, and they come from the Chaos Dwarf Hand Cannoneers. They're all located on this part of this area, and so we will want to place our cannon back here if you are using one, and then we can start firing. I also like drinking the aggression potion as well. I'm not using a very good weapon, just a Zerite bow, because I do want to disassemble it at some point. And we will just be AFKing, watching for any hand cannons that may drop. The hand cannon is a 1 in 132 drop, so it definitely isn't common. And so you will be going for the hand cannon, but also the hand cannon shots. They are also fairly valuable. And look at that, we got our first hand cannon already. I would suggest you try and keep your character over to the west as much as possible. A lot of these blackguards and random chaos dwarves don't drop the hand cannon, so we are really just looking for the hand cannoneers. This is also a good time to have a scavenging perk on. You can just get some extra invention components as well, and it's more or less just AFK at this point. The hand cannoneers also have a chase drop of the dragon pickaxe, a 1 in 5,000 drop, which would be obviously very nice since it's worth around 27 mil. And overall, this method isn't as consistent as the previous two, since you are relying on RNG a bit, but it can be really good. The hand cannons are going for anywhere around 3 mil to 3.5 mil, so it is very profitable if you happen to get lucky and get a few. Going back to the ancient weapon gizmo shells, as you can see, they do also require 20 blade parts, which are more common, but still a lot of people are needing them and they are in high demand as well. Blade parts can be obtained in bulk by disassembling various melee weapons, the best being the Elder Rune 2-hand sword plus 5, or the Bane 2-hand sword plus 4. So depending on what your smithing level is, you can choose which item to make. But I'll be showing you how much profit you can make by creating an Elder Rune 2-hander plus 5 from scratch. So this weapon takes 128 Elder Rune bars to create, which costed just over 1.8 mil. We now just need to make the Elder Rune 2-hand plus 5. I am using some pretty good crystal hammers with good perks, and before I finish the Elder Rune sword, I always equip the crystal hammer with Breakdown 6 and Fortune 3, which has a chance to double the Rune 2-hander, and Breakdown gives me a chance to get the invention components as if I was disassembling it. Also, really important to use the Perfect Juju Smithing Potion to speed things up, and definitely the Power Burst of Masterstroke. And that is the sword completed, and we're only 18 minutes in, so let's go sell this on the Grand Exchange and see how much profit we made. And 3 mil is an insta-sell. It sold for 3.1 mil. So we did make just over 1 mil profit, about 1.2 mil. So this method isn't as good right now. You could possibly try to make a little bit more money if you don't insta-sell the sword, but assuming you are insta-selling it right now, you're only going to make around 4.3 mil GP per hour, but also you do get around 420k smithing XP while making some profit, so that part is pretty good. And so I decided I wanted to try out the Bane 2-hand sword, see if it's any better profit. And let's just try and insta-sell this. Sells for just over 1 mil, and it costed 700k to make, so 300k profit, and it took me roughly 8 minutes to complete. So still not that great. Profit would be very similar at around 2 or 3 mil GP per hour. So there you have it. Those are a few new and improved money-making methods. The best ones seem to be creating the historical component crates or just gathering Zarosian Insignia and sell them on the GE for other people to make the historical components. So with that said, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.